way. Shedeur Sanders dapping up the kick, but I just want y'all to know the man who's the emergency third quarterback, the man who's probably not gonna get to play this year, you know what he does? Looking fresh, goes up to the rookie kicker, daps him up and say, guess what, you gonna be all right, you gonna be good, because guess what, Shedeur's been through worse, the Browns have been through worse, and you're just a rookie at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And look, the consistent,
when you look at Shedeur Sanders compared to Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders don't turn the ball over. Remember, they lost 17-16, and the reason why they got 16, the field goal kicker missed an extra point. Something that we saw during preseason and competition about their field goal kicker.
Don't skip a single second of this video, and if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin. You know, sometimes in football, the biggest play of the game isn't a touchdown. It isn't a sack. It isn't even something that shows up in the box score. Sometimes it's a moment that happens when the cameras aren't really paying attention, when the fans are still fuming, when the stadium's gone quiet. And that's exactly what we saw with Shedeur Sanders. The Browns lost. Another gut punch, another heartbreak. And while the internet was on fire, blaming the rookie kicker, trashing him like he was the reason for everything wrong in Cleveland, Shedeur did the opposite. He walked up to that kid, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "You're gonna be all right." That's not just encouragement, that's leadership. That's championship DNA. Think about it. This isn't the starting quarterback saying that after leading a comeback drive. This isn't a Pro Bowler with a guaranteed contract. This is the third stringer, the guy who probably won't touch the field this season unless absolute disaster strikes. And yet in that moment, who looked like the real franchise player? Not Flacco, not the veterans, not the coaches. It was Shedeur Sanders. And I'll be honest with you, it gave me chills. Because if you've been around this game long enough, you recognize these moments. Tom Brady wasn't always Tom Brady. He was a backup once too, a 6th-round pick sitting on the bench. But ask any of his old teammates and they'll tell you he carried himself like a leader before he ever threw a touchdown. Peyton Manning, same thing, throwing interceptions as a rookie, but teammates believed because he commanded respect. Drew Brees, undersized, doubted, but he won guys over with his presence before he had the resume. That's what we just saw from Shedeur. A presence, a calmness, a belief that he could pass to someone else when they needed it most. And the beauty of it is the cameras almost missed it. Most fans scrolling Twitter didn't even notice, but that locker room noticed. Those players noticed. And that's how reputations are built in the NFL. Not in press conferences, not in highlight reels, but in the trust of the men standing next to you. Because let's be real, the Browns are cursed. This franchise knows heartbreak better than any team in football. And in that chaos, you need somebody who steadies the ship. Not someone who piles on, not someone who points fingers, someone who says, "I've got your back." And Shedeur Sanders did that in his rookie year, in a role where he had nothing to gain, nothing to prove and nothing to lose. So when I saw that dap, when I saw that moment of support, I didn't see a rookie QB3. I saw a future captain. I saw a guy who understands that football isn't just about what happens between the whistles. It's about building men up when the weight of the world is crushing them down. And I promise you, years from now when people talk about Shedeur's rise, they're gonna point back to this. Because this wasn't just a gesture, this was the moment that changed everything. Right now, let's be real about where Shedeur Sanders actually stands. He's not the starter. He's not even the backup. He's the emergency quarterback, sitting behind a 40-year-old veteran in Joe Flacco. And in Cleveland that usually means one thing: you're a ghost. You're invisible. You don't exist to the media. You don't exist to the fan base. And you sure as hell don't exist to the critics, who only care about who's throwing the ball on Sundays. But here's the twist. Shedeur Sanders is already cutting through that invisibility. His presence, his energy, his leadership, it's bigger than his role on the depth chart. Look at the Browns' quarterback carousel the past decade. It's chaos. Baker Mayfield was supposed to be the savior, a #1 pick who had flashes, a playoff run, then got shipped out and is now looking reborn in Tampa. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be the franchise investment, a blockbuster trade, a fully guaranteed contract, and what's happened since? Injuries, inconsistency, off-field shadows. Then they called Joe Flacco, a Super Bowl MVP from another era, to keep the offense afloat. That's Cleveland football. Always scrambling, always searching, always waiting for the next answer at quarterback. And in the middle of that storm sits Shedeur Sanders, a rookie, not playing, not even dressing some weeks. But ask anyone inside that building, and they'll tell you, this kid feels different. Teammates love him. They talk about his attitude in the locker room, how he brings calm to chaos. Veterans don't brush him off like a rookie. They respect him. Coaches see the way he carries himself, and they're already using words like steady and leader. That matters more than any preseason stat line. But the outside world? Oh, they don't see it. The media isn't convinced. The narrative is still, he's Deion's son. He's unproven. He hasn't faced NFL speed. Fans are split right down the middle. Some are begging to see him on the field, desperate for anything new, anything different. Others think he's just hype, a college star who'll flame out like the long list of quarterbacks before him. That's the reality Shedeur's living in. Doubted on the outside, embraced on the inside. And that's why this moment is so fascinating, because the irony is brutal. He may not play a single snap this year, but he's already impacting the Browns in ways stats can't measure. He's building relationships. He's stabilizing a locker room that's used to pointing fingers after every loss. He's showing poise that guys 10 years older are struggling to show. That's not normal. That's not just another rookie holding a clipboard. So when you ask me where Shedeur stands right now, I'll tell you, on paper he's buried on the depth chart. But in reality, his presence is climbing. His reputation is growing. And the craziest part is this. Sometimes the guys who wait, the guys who learn, the guys who lead without playing, those are the ones who explode when the door finally opens. And make no mistake, Shedeur's door is coming. Let's not sugarcoat this. Shedeur Sanders has critics. A lot of them. And they're not shy about it. You hear it every time his name comes up on sports talk shows or in the comment sections online. He's only here because of Deion. He hasn't proven anything at the NFL level. That arm won't hold up against NFL speed. The narrative is clear. The doubters are lining up, waiting for him to fail, waiting to say, "I told you so." And honestly, it's nothing new. Every young quarterback has to battle that outside noise. But Shedeur's battle is even louder, even nastier, because of who his father is. Deion Sanders isn't just a Hall of Famer. He's a lightning rod. Everything about primetime brings attention, and that spotlight burns twice as hot for his son. People are almost rooting for Shedeur to stumble, just so they can say it was all hype, all smoke, all because of the Sanders name. But here's where it gets even heavier. This isn't just about Shedeur's personal critics. This is about Cleveland. And if you've followed football at all, you know what that means. The Browns are cursed. I don't care if you believe in superstition or not. The evidence is undeniable. Quarterback after quarterback has walked into this franchise with hope, only to walk out broken. Draft busts, injuries, mental collapses, careers that never had a chance because the dysfunction around them was too much. Think back. Johnny Manziel, a first-round pick, turned into a cautionary tale before his rookie deal was up. Brandon Weeden, Brady Quinn, Tim Couch, all names that were supposed to lead Cleveland to the promised land, and all chewed up, spit out, and forgotten. And that's before you even get to Baker Mayfield, who actually gave this team a playoff win, only to get shoved aside like he was never good enough. Now here comes Shedeur Sanders, talented, confident, carrying not only his own weight but the weight of the Sanders name, and the weight of a franchise that seems to find new ways to self-destruct every single year. And if you're a Browns fan, you can't help but wonder, is he the next casualty? Is he the next name on the long, painful list of quarterbacks who got buried under the Cleveland curse? But here's the thing that keeps me hooked. Inside that locker room, the story sounds different. Teammates aren't buying into the hate. Veterans talk about how much they respect him. Coaches mention his calmness. The guys who actually see him every day, who watch him work, who hear him speak, they see something the critics don't. They see leadership. They see poise. They see a rookie who doesn't carry himself like a rookie. And that's what makes this whole situation so tense, so unpredictable. On one side, you've got the critics waiting to laugh when he fails. On the other, you've got teammates believing he's already built different. And right in the middle, you've got Cleveland, a franchise that eats quarterbacks alive. So the question is this: can Shedeur Sanders survive it? Can he rise above not just his doubters, but the curse of the Browns themselves? Or will he become just another name in a long line of broken promises? That's the storm hanging over everything right now. And it's not going away anytime soon. Here's the thing about Shedeur Sanders that nobody's really talking about. He's not just surviving in Cleveland, he's building. Piece by piece, moment by moment, he's laying down a foundation that feels bigger than his role right now. And if you listen closely, you can already hear the signs of a breakthrough. Start with the whispers coming out of training camp. Coaches kept pointing out how composed he looked, how quickly he picked up the system. Veterans talked about his poise, not just in throwing drills, but in the way he carried himself off the field. And when a guy like Miles Garrett, a generational talent who doesn't hand out compliments lightly, says he respects your voice, that's a sign. That's a heavyweight in that locker room telling you this rookie matters. And it's not just respect, it's leadership. We've seen it in those small moments, like dapping up a kicker after a brutal loss. But it goes deeper than that. Teammates talk about how Shedeur's the guy who keeps the room steady, who asks questions in film study that veterans nod their heads at, who's always engaged even when he knows he won't play on Sunday. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't show up on ESPN graphics, but it's how great quarterbacks are made. Because let's be real, some of the best in NFL history didn't start out as instant stars. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years. 3 years. And during that time, he wasn't just waiting. He was absorbing. He was sharpening. He was becoming the leader we all saw later. Patrick Mahomes, he didn't get thrown into the fire right away. He sat behind Alex Smith, studied, learned, then exploded into one of the most unstoppable forces this league has ever seen. That's the lane Shedeur Sanders is in right now. He's not on the field yet, but his development is happening in the shadows, in the locker room, in practice huddles, in late-night film sessions where he's still locked in, still taking notes, still building the mental edge he'll need when the lights finally turn his way. And honestly, that might be the best thing for him.
Because instead of being another rookie quarterback tossed into chaos and broken by it, Shedeur's learning how to be the steady hand. He's learning how to lead a team before he's even asked to save it. And that's what makes me believe his breakthrough is coming. Not with a stat line today, but with the respect he's already earned. You can feel it. The Browns might be messy, the losses might pile up, but inside that locker room, Shedeur Sanders is already making his mark. And when his time finally comes, he won't just be ready, he'll be undeniable. This is where it all comes together. Because what we just saw from Shedeur Sanders after that Browns loss, that wasn't just a rookie showing kindness. That was a quarterback showing us the future. One dap, one moment of leadership. And yeah, on the surface it looks small, but in this league, the small things are everything. Think about it. How many quarterbacks have come through Cleveland and tried to force their greatness with a throw, with a drive, with a stat sheet? Too many, and almost every one of them left broken. But Shedeur's first big statement didn't come from a touchdown pass. It came from showing his teammate, his locker room, and honestly the whole NFL, that he's built for more than just highlights. He's built to lead. That's the DNA of a franchise quarterback. And here's the bold truth. This moment might actually be the turning point of his career, because whether it happens in Cleveland or somewhere else, Shedeur Sanders is proving right now that he's got the rarest trait in football, unshakable presence. The ability to lift others when the whole world is crashing down. You can't teach that. You can't fake that. You either have it or you don't, and Shedeur's got it. Now I know what you're thinking. He's still a rookie, still unproven, still waiting for his shot. And you're right. But go back in history. Every great quarterback had a moment before their moment. Brady had it on the sidelines before he ever replaced Bledsoe. Mahomes had it in practice before the Chiefs ever handed him the keys. Leadership always shows up before the stats do. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with Shedeur Sanders. So let me put it plainly. This loss, this heartbreak that Cleveland fans are still trying to shake off, it might actually be the spark that launches Shedeur Sanders into NFL greatness. Because when the Browns fell apart, he stood tall. When the rookie kicker felt the weight of the world, Shedeur gave him a reason to keep fighting. And when the critics were sharpening their knives, the locker room saw a rookie acting like a captain. That's not normal. That's special. And now it's on us as fans to recognize it, to believe in it, to support it. Because this story is just beginning. Whether his future is in Cleveland or somewhere else, whether it starts next season or 2 years from now, one thing is undeniable. Shedeur Sanders is on his way to becoming the kind of quarterback you build a team around. So don't let the noise fool you. Don't let the curse convince you otherwise. We are watching something real. We are watching the rise of a leader, the birth of a franchise quarterback. And if you can't feel that yet, just wait, because the future is coming, and its name is Shedeur Sanders.